How's it going, everybody? My name is Lucky Buns, and in today's video we're going to be breaking down all the events for the month of June in Pokemon GO. With that being said, let's jump straight into it. So first of all, let's go over the new season bonuses which are going to be available for the next 3 months in Pokemon GO. We're going to get 2 special trades per day, we're going to get a higher chance to get extra large candy when we walk with our buddy, and then we're finally going to get increased experience from our first catch of the day. If I'm being honest here, the bonuses this season are definitely weak. Like, we didn't even get guaranteed extra large candy from trading Pokemon, which we normally get every other season. The 2 special trades each day is a good bonus, but the higher chance to get extra large candy from walking with your buddy and the increased experience from your first catch of the day, those are pretty weak in my opinion. Sometimes it really does feel like Niantic is trying to kill their own game, I swear. Moving on though, let's talk about the Shadow Legendary Pokemon from both Giovanni and then from raid battles. So from Giovanni, it's still going to be Groudon, and it should most likely rotate when we get the next Team Go Rocket Takeover event. I would estimate that's probably coming sometime at the end of this month or maybe the next month. Now if we follow the pattern, the next Shadow Legendary Pokemon should most likely be Rayquaza. Like, we just got Kyogre, we just got Groudon, so Rayquaza makes sense to be next, but we'll have to ultimately wait and see. Now for those of you guys who don't know how good Shadow Groudon is in Pokemon GO, I highly recommend checking out the video in the top right hand corner. This includes a full analysis on top of how you should actually go about stacking and saving your Super Rocket radars. And as always, if you guys have any additional questions after watching that video, just let me know in the comment section down below. Now when it comes down to the Shadow Legendary raids, it looks like we're going to be getting a second rotation for the Legendary Beast. So we're going to start over with Shadow Raikou once again, which is currently the best electric type attacker in the game. And the shiny is going to be available, so in my opinion this is going to be an excellent time to go out and grind for this elusive Shadow Shiny. Moving on, let's go over the Research Breakthrough Pokemon next. So all these Pokemon will have their shiny forms available, which is pretty cool. So we're going to have Hisuian Growlithe, Larvitar, Audino, Axew, Furfrou, and Jangmo-O. Now as far as Jangmo-O goes, this shiny just got released during the in-person Go Fest, and the next time that we're probably going to see it in the wild is going to be during the Global Go Fest event, so highly recommend doing your Research Breakthrough Pokemon for a chance to get this Pokemon in its shiny form. Next up, let's go over the Legendary Raid rotation. So shiny forms for all these Pokemon will be available. The rotation cycle, as always, is going to be from 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. local time. So first up, we got Zapdos from June 1st to June 10th. Now with Shadow Raikou being available in raids over the weekends, I honestly don't think it's worth focusing on Zapdos. It's probably not the best use of your passes anyways, unless you want to actually just go for that shiny. Now if you are trying to get one for PvP and trade with a friend for better IVs, then it is actually probably worth raiding for this Pokemon because it is ranked within the top 100 for Ultra League currently. Unfortunately though, the Legacy move Thundershock will not be available on Zapdos, so if you end up getting a good IV spread, you will need to use an Elite Fast TM. The next Pokemon in rotation is going to be Landorus in its incarnate form from June 10th to June 19th. Now, I would only use your free passes on this one to get candy to power up the Therian form, because the incarnate form really isn't that good in raids or for PvP. Now after that, we're going to have Yveltal from June 19th to June 28th. This is a pretty great Pokemon in the flying type meta with Oblivion Wing, but sadly, it won't have it during this rotation. I do still think it's worth raiding for this Pokemon though, since the shiny form is available and it also has play in the Master League. So if you end up getting the Hundo or potentially even a 98, you can always use an Elite TM to get Oblivion Wing, which I do think is definitely worth it. The final Pokemon in rotation is going to be Ho-Oh from June 28th to July 8th. Now unfortunately, the regular form for Ho-Oh really isn't that great in the raid/gym meta, but if you trade it with a friend for better PvP IVs, it does have some play in the Ultra League. It's ranked within like the top 150, so it's not too bad, but it's definitely not like the best, right? Now I also want to mention that Ho-Oh also has some play in the Master League if you end up getting the Hundo, so if you guys do actually want to use this thing in the Master League, then it is probably worth raiding for it. Unfortunately, just like the other legendary Pokemon, Ho-Oh won't have access to its signature moveset, Sacred Fire, so if you end up getting a good IV spread for the Ultra League or for the Master League, you will have to use an Elite TM. But in my opinion, I definitely do think it is worth it because Ho-Oh does have some pretty good play in the Master League. Actually, I should probably revise that. It's probably more worth it if you end up getting the Hundo. If you get it for Ultra League, I mean, that is a little bit more debatable. Next up, let's go over the Mega Raids for this month. So shiny forms are going to be available for all these Pokemon. So first up, we have Mega Gyarados from June 1st to June 10th. Now we just had Mega Gyarados available in raids last month, so it is kind of weird that Niantic decided to give it to us again so soon instead of like a different Mega Pokemon. In terms of viable Mega Pokemon though, this does fall below Primal Kyogre and Mega Swampert in the Water type category for the raid/gym meta, and then it also falls below Mega Tyranitar and Mega Houndoom in the Dark type category. Now that doesn't mean that Mega Gyarados is bad though. It's actually a pretty good Pokemon. Even if you don't use it for battle, the typing bonuses are pretty fantastic, since it does cover both the dark types as well as water types. So in my opinion, if you guys don't have enough energy for it, like you didn't have a chance to raid it this past month, definitely make sure to go out there and grab enough energy to at least Mega Evolve it once. The next Pokemon in rotation is going to be Mega Alakazam from June 10th to June 19th. Now similar to Mega Gyarados, we just had Mega Alakazam in raids last month, and it kind of feels a little bit lazy from Niantic to do this. Now with that being said though, I was a little bit too harsh on Mega Alakazam during the last month, so allow me to correct my assessment on it. This is actually a pretty good Pokemon to raid because it actually is the best Mega type option for Psychic types in the game. It ranks right below Shadow Mewtwo in terms of relevance. Now with that being said though, it does need to have the legacy move Psychic in order to be meta relevant, and the next best option would be Future Sight, but I don't actually think it's worth giving it the Elite TM, so in my opinion, if you get a really good Mega Alakazam that you want to use in raid battles, then just use Future Sight until we get Mega Mewtwo, because realistically, once that comes out and you guys don't actually have Psy Strike on your Mewtwo, I would rather save your Elite TMs to use it on that, opposed to Mega Alakazam, which is more of a temporary option. Still, I do appreciate the feedback from last time, because it did make me go and reevaluate Mega Alakazam, and I saw that it was a lot better than I thought it was. And to be honest, I really have no idea how long it's going to take to get Mega Mewtwo in-game. Like, Niantic has been slow dripping us new Pokemon really badly this year, and I only feel like it's going to get even slower as we continue to move forward with this game. So, I mean, Mega Mewtwo might take like 2 years to come out, and that's a pretty long time, so Mega Alakazam is going to be the MVP until then, at least in terms of the Mega option. Moving on though, the next Pokemon in rotation is going to be Mega Charizard Y from June 19th to June 28th. Now, we did have Mega Charizard X available in raids during the month of April, so I was kind of wondering if we were going to see Mega Charizard Y make its appearance. It doesn't really make that much of a difference though, since the Mega Energy can be used to Mega Evolve for either form. It is easily one of the best Mega Pokemon in the entire game though, so don't sleep on this if you don't have enough Mega Energy for your Charizard. I mean, even if you want to get extra energy, I do think it is worth it for the potential chance to even get a shiny. Now finally, our last Pokemon is going to be Mega Tyranitar from June 28th to July 8th. We did have Mega Tyranitar available in raids during the month of March, so for all the Megas this month, we essentially got very recent repeats. Although, I'm not really complaining about this since all of them are meta relevant, and for anybody who missed these rotations, it's going to be a great time for you to pick up some pretty good Pokemon. Now when it comes down to Mega Tyranitar, this is the king of Rock and Dark type Pokemon currently in Pokemon GO. If you guys do want to run it as a Rock type attacker though, you will need the Legacy move Smackdown, which is a fast move. If you end up getting a good IV spread and you already have a Dark type Tyranitar build, I would definitely consider using Elite TM to give it Smackdown. Now as always guys, to wrap up the Megas, I like to provide some general information for any new or returning players watching. So you only need to evolve these Pokemon once before getting access to their cooldown period moving forward. You're also going to get more extra large candy when your Mega Pokemon gets to Mega level 3, which is unlocked after 30 days of Mega Evolution. Additionally, on top of that, when you complete Mega Raids, you're also going to get guaranteed charge TMs. So my recommendation is always to do at least 1 to 2 Mega Raids, get the initial energy to evolve, and then you're also going to be getting free charge TMs at the same time. It's essentially like a win-win situation. Now finally, to conclude the raids, let's go over Raid Hour, which is going to take place every Wednesday from 6 to 7 p.m. local time. So on June 5th, we're going to have Zapdos, on June 12th, we're going to have Landorus in its incarnate form, and then on June 19th and June 26th, we're going to have Yveltal. Unfortunately, we're not going to have Ho until next month. With the raids out of the way, let's go over the upcoming events next. So these event windows are going to be based on your local time zone, so just make sure to keep that in mind. Now in the past, we have actually gotten some global bonuses for the in-person Go Fest, but I don't really know if that's going to happen this time around. The first Go Fest is going to take place from May 30th to June 2nd. That's going to be the Go Fest in Japan. The first official event for the month is going to take place from June 1st to June 4th, though. That's going to be for the stadium sites. The special bonus during this event will be 1.5 times Stardust and candy for hatching Pokemon. To be honest, the bonus isn't really that good. I would expect something like 2 times Hatch Stardust and 2 times Hatch Candy, but we will have Shiny Riolu available potentially in a 7-kilometer egg, so that is kind of a plus. Moving on though, our next event is going to take place from June 7th to June 12th. It's going to be the Slumbering Sands event. Now on Sunday, June 9th, we're going to have the Community Day for Gumi, which is pretty cool. Historically, we have gotten a pseudo legendary every year in June, so this is really no exception. I will have a video with a detailed analysis going over all the full details once they have been posted. Now in between the next event, we're going to have our next Go Fest, which is going to take place in Madrid, Spain. This is going to take place from June 14th to June 16th. Now after that, we're going to have the next event, which is going to be Spelunker's Cove. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. That's going to take place from June 15th to June 18th. After that, we're going to have the Scorching Steps event from June 21st to June 25th. And then in between that, on Saturday, we're going to have the Calm Day Classic for Cyndaquil. I'm probably one of the few people that is actually excited about this, but my channel mascot is Typhlosion, so you guys probably aren't that surprised. However, Typhlosion did get access to Thunder Punch with the recent season update for GBL, so it's actually a lot more meta-relevant now. And similar to the Gumi Calm Day, once the full details are posted, I will be making a separate video going over this. Now after that, on June 29th, we're going to have the Mega Rayquaza Elite Raid Day. Now this was originally teased as a Raid Day, so I kind of expected something like Primal Kyogre Raid Day or Primal Groudon Raid Day, but no, this is actually an Elite Raid Day, which, again, Niantic really just pulled a bait and switch on us. I saw a lot of YouTubers covering this early without concrete information, and this is kind of why I always wait for the official announcement, because I know Niantic, like, they tend to do stuff like this. Now, this could have been a really hyped up event, very similar to Kyogre and Groudon Raid Days back in March, but now it's kind of looking painfully mid. It's mainly because the Elite Raid structure is kind of garbage. Like, you can't remote raid into them, which means a lot of players in small communities won't have raid support. Sometimes it really feels like Niantic just doesn't want money, because I don't understand understand why they would do this on one of the most hyped up events of the year. So for those of you guys out there with smaller communities, I don't really know what you can do outside of just checking Campfire maybe like a few days before to see if there's any local event meetups, and then from there I'm sure there's going to be plenty of interest. So that's the only thing I can think of for these elite raids. Outside of that, you're kind of out of luck, which really sucks for something as big as Mega Rayquaza. Now following that, from June 28th to July 3rd, we're going to have the 8th anniversary party for Pokemon Go, so you can likely expect more Pikachu with party hats along with the Kanto starters again. These events typically don't have that much going on. We might get some small bonuses here and there, but I wouldn't really expect too much from this. Now as far as the next two Go Fests, the in-person one in New York and the Global Go Fest, those are both going to be taking place in July, so I'll talk about those next month. So it definitely seems like we have a lot of events going on in June, which is kind of cool, but again, like, I don't really know too much about a lot of the event details outside of like the Rayquaza raid day and then the first event of this month, so we'll have to wait and see if they actually live up to anything. Now finally, to wrap things up for this month, let's go over the Spotlight Hours, which are going to take place every Tuesday from 6 to 7 p.m. local time. Shiny forms for every single Pokemon will be available, so that is always nice. The first Spotlight Hour is going to take place on June 4th, and that's going to be featuring the Pokemon Makuhita with the special bonus 2x catch candy. Now this is probably a Spotlight Hour you guys can skip unless you want to hunt down the shiny, because there's really nothing good about it. So our next Spotlight Hour is going to take place on June 11th, which is going to feature the Pokemon Wingull, and the special bonus is going to be 2x transfer candy. Now when evolved to Pelipper, this is actually ranked within the top 50 Pokemon in both the Great League meta as well as the Ultra League meta. It's actually going to be a solid time to hunt down some good IV spreads, extra large candy, and potentially even a shiny. Now on top of that, the special bonus is also fantastic. I would recommend creating a search tag, group together all of the rare Pokemon and extra legendary Pokemon leading up to this event, and then bonus points if you mirror trade them with someone beforehand. Now our next Spotlight Hour is going to take place on June 18th, which is going to feature the Pokemon Roggenrola, and the special bonus is going to be 2x evolve experience. Now as far as this Pokemon goes, it's not like super meta relevant or anything like that, and it's not really good in PvP. It is more like a budget rock type attacker that receives the trade evolution bonus. So what this essentially means is that when you trade a Roggenrola with somebody, it's still going to cost you 50 candy to evolve it to Boldore, but you won't have to spend 200 candy to evolve it to Gigalith. So for those of you guys out there who don't actually have that many good rock type attackers, I would recommend playing with a friend and then mirror trading your Roggenrola after the event for potentially some lucky ones, and then you can evolve those to get a full team of rock type attackers to use temporarily until you get better ones added to your team. Now if you already have a good type of rock type attackers on your team and you just want to focus on the special bonus, I would recommend gathering about 70 evolutions in a search tag per lucky egg, and if you can, try to coordinate any friendship level ups during this time as well. Now finally, our last Spotlight Hour is going to take place on June 25th, which is going to feature the Pokemon Morlul with a special bonus 2x catch Stardust. Now this is a really good Spotlight Hour, guys. Like, even though Morlul isn't that meta relevant in Pokemon Go, it is one of the Pokemon that benefits from boosted base Stardust. So for every catch, you're going to get 500 Stardust instead of 400 Stardust, and this is increased with the weather boost as well for a total of 625 Stardust. Now if you had a star piece on top of that, the multiplier is going to be 1.5 times, which would be about 750 Stardust or 938 Stardust respectively. But to make it even more OP, once again, the special bonus is going to be 2x catch Stardust, so this Spotlight Hour is going to be phenomenal. Not to mention that the shiny is also somewhat new since it was released during November 2023, so it's only been about like, what, 7-8 months? So mark your calendars for this event, guys. You really don't want to miss it. So ultimately, in conclusion, after about 2 mediocre months in Pokemon Go, we do finally have a good month to look forward to, at least in my opinion. I feel like there's a lot of really good events, and we have some pretty good Pokemon and raids as well. Like, we have Shadow Raikou coming back, which is really good. I highly recommend going for that one. The only downside in my opinion is Mega Rayquaza being an elite raid event instead of a raid day event. Like, I feel like that was such a bad decision, but hey, I'm not the one who makes the calls, right? Ultimately, I just would encourage you guys to check your Campfire a few days before the event to see if there's any local meetups, and then just kind of go from there. But overall, the month of June is looking pretty good in Pokemon Go, and as always, I would love to hear your own thoughts in the comment section down below on what you're personally looking forward to. But with that being said, guys, if you still want to check out some more content, I'm going to recommend these two videos right here. And before you go, don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and I'll see you all real soon in the next one.